Hey, Rusty, there's a whole live streaming component about this that I'm not used to doing, so pl- please welcome. Oh, yeah, thank you. Well, howdy, y'all. It's been a minute. I feel like it's funny because musicians, I guess everyone probably does this, but we kind of keep talking about, remember a few months ago when we played this show and it's like at a year and a half, right? So it's been a minute since we've been here. I'm really grateful. We've done this show kind of in this form in Austin for a couple years, a year and a half ago plus. But this is my good friend Warren over here on the fiddle, Mr. Warren Hood. And if you guys saw me anytime through most of my career, you saw this guy right over here, Mr. Buck Allen on the keyboards. Oh, Abilene, inside of me, misunderstood and cruel. Your casual slip, it betrays my point of view. Oh, and I can see for miles and miles. I can never call your name. Oh, and I believe too many sunny skies. Hey, I'd leave this town, I'd forget your name, I'd forget your face and everything. But you let me down, let me hanging around like some strange fruit from a tree. I'm afraid to sleep, afraid to walk these streets. For the day they'll find me out, there'll be no sympathies, yet for ones like me allowed. And evermore, your never compromise. Oh, and I believe too many sunny skies. Oh, and I believe too many sunny sky. Thank you so much. I haven't gotten to do this for a long time, so I'm very grateful to be able to be here. And I was really hoping we'd be past this shit by now, but I'm grateful that we're at least to the point where we're here, because, I live For those of y'all that don't know every intimate detail about my life, sometimes I think I'm too, I make the assumption that everybody does. But I live on an island outside of Seattle. I live in the woods. I become adept at chainsaw use, and I know how to use fluids and things that prevent rust really well. I did not know how to do any of that when I lived in Austin because I just played guitar, and that was pretty much it. And I've had a really, really fortunate life because I had this great balance where I could come down to Texas because first of all, there's no Mexican food in Seattle. And if you think there is, we're going to have a discussion because that's a bunch of bullshit. There's a couple of problems up there. I mean, I love it up there. I love the woods. I love being around the trees. That's what I love. But the way it worked for me is I was able to come down and hang out with my friends and play music. And when I was in lockdown, well, I got to know my dog really well. Thankfully, I love my wife, but I mean, she and I were about to kill each other. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I don't care how much you like somebody. You're stuck in the same room for 18 months, man. It's going to press it, right? Nobody's laughing. That's why I know I'm right. That's why I know I'm right. So anyhow, I can't tell you how grateful I am to be able to play music. It's such a huge part of my life, and obviously I was doing the live streams and that, and hello to the folks in the virtual live stream land. Hope to see y'all too in the organic flesh soon enough. But this is a tune, man. Buck and I, Buck, you remember Angeline? Yeah. Oh yeah. We used to go down to L.A. and I remember we'd go down the hill into Los Angeles because you got to, of course, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. You got to go down to get to L.A., right? And just as you're entering the valley, you see these gigantic billboards of Angeline, and it's really just symbolic for everything that's inside of that town, which is a whole bunch of beautiful nastiness. On her knees, she's divine. Another angel you tripped, but she don't seem to mind. The light in her eyes that let you down. She fell to the floor without making a sound. And looked to the bed where she lay. Can raise a glass to your order today. In beauty and love you've never known. So you laid her down at the Chateau Marmot. Oh, and Angeline, oh, and Angeline. Well, and you'll never know all the trouble I've seen. But see, she runs from your eyes. Well, they're blue but so cold that she can sympathize. Well, then suffer the bastards who paid with their quiet indiscretions and their promises made. Oh, and Angeline, oh, and Angeline. But then you'll never know all the trouble I've seen. But then you'll never know all the trouble I've seen. Yeah. On your knees, you're divine. Laid you trim, but you don't seem to mind. life that we made, it let you down, and you fell to the floor without making a sound. Oh, and Angeline, oh, and Angeline, well, and you'll never know all the trouble I've seen. Oh, and Angeline, oh, and Angeline, well, and you'll never know all the trouble I've seen. Well, and you'll never know all the trouble I've seen. Well, you'll never know all the trouble I've seen. Thank you. Super. Oh, it's weird. I don't know what's well. Did it blow? I have no idea. Well, this is what happens when you don't use your shit for a year and a half. I have no idea what. I don't know. You want to just run a DI on it and just bail on the amp? It sounded amazing at sound check. Or actually, yeah, you can just run. I think you can just go from here to the DI. Here, just and then I'll just need some of the monitor, of course. That's so weird.
It happens.
You know, it reminds me of so I took a side gig playing with Jason Mraz. I needed the money. I did. I really did need the money. It's totally true. I had small kids. Pay was pretty good. But it was part of what was interesting to me is I've mostly, Warren and I were talking about this when we loaded in. I've mostly been a front man, and it's cool to try different roles on and just see like, well, what, how am I as a guitar player that's not a front person. Just one sec. You getting a signal out there? Okay. I need some monitors. Yeah, that's cool for now. So anyhow, we all had to use in-ear monitors. For those of y'all that don't know, that's basically instead of the floor monitors, you got them going in ears, and pretty much any big tour uses ear monitors. It's just how everyone does it now. That's why tours aren't as cool. Like if you watch the Stones in the 70s and then you watch the Eagles now, it's kind of like, well, the harmonies are perfect, but it feels kind of like they're computers. So that's true. So anyhow, we're doing this gig, and I'm on ear monitors, and Jason has this one tune where it's like jazz scatting, and I got to sing the harmony part. So it's a pretty, and anybody, right? You got to go super fast, all this harmony stuff, and best harmony singer in the world is going to struggle with that, right? So we're at Farm Aid. You guys know that, right? In front of 1 billion people and then a quadzillion people on a TV audience, and the friggin' ear monitors go out. And then Jason, my ear monitors are out, and then he calls the damn song where I have to sing harmony with this like scat tune, and I'm on TV, and I just remember watching his mouth going, God, I hope I'm in tune. So this ain't nothing. Well, this tune, for those of y'all, again, just I apologize in case you know everything about me, but I don't think that everyone does. So the joy for me of doing these shows and what this holiday tour has become for me is a reprieve for me to be able to play all the tunes I don't play in my rock and roll set. So I'm really grateful. I've been really digging playing my guitar. I've been practicing more than I've ever practiced in my life. but I love all these songs, and some of these don't fit in the set. So a lot of these tunes are some of my favorite songs, and hopefully some of y'all's too. But tunes that don't have as much of a viewing in a typical set. So this one's off of a record of mine called "And All the Colors." It's called Retablo de Teresa. Plaster slowly cracking, the rain it falls right through me, and the pregnant clouds crying. The hat is on the table, my eyes on the ocean, and the ocean knows no mercy. Well, I'm all strung out, lonely, baby, you know. So the town around is sleeping, slip me in my religion. Well, I kneel to Saint Teresa, and she hits me like a hammer for the sins I wasn't sure of. Something she's been waiting. Well, I'm all strung out and lonely, baby, you know. Well, I'm all strung out and lonely, baby, you know. Oh no, the colors spilling down, were they drowning you? Oh, lights were flashing all around, and surrounded you. When lights were flashing all around, how they mesmerized you then, and the brilliance left you no one else to blame. So the people, they look ugly as they fall into my window. They fall through painted glass. Every tableau inside every chord es donde hago mi daño, es donde mi vida pasó. Well, I'm all strung out and lonely, baby, you know. Well, I'm all strung out and lonely, baby, you know. Well, I'm all strung out and lonely, baby, you know. Well, I'm all strung out and lonely, baby, you know. Warren Hood. Well, God, it's crazy. I think I've been playing this place for 20 years. Maybe? Rusty, somebody tell me. Ain't it funny? Isn't that crazy? It feels like I just started doing it. No, it hasn't. You're just an ugly liar. It hadn't been over 20 years, has it? What? This is just one of those things where you guys, it's like some weird thing like Clockwork Orange where you put me in a situation and pretend it's a certain way. I'm not falling for this crap. But, so, I've been doing this songwriting workshop for 9 years. I'm scared to say years now. I don't even know how long. Probably 9 years. And so a lot of people know me as a guitar player. And for some people, when they're like, wait a minute, wait, what's going on? So when I was coming up, I started out playing with my friends the way you do, right? And then I got a gig playing guitar with Joe Ely, and that was kind of, well, y'all are from here, or so you understand when I say this in different parts of the world, a lot of people don't know who Joe Ely is. But if you're from Texas and you're a musician, especially in my world, Joe Ely is a god. Joe Ely's kind of a god the way, I don't really know how other people think. Joe Ely's just a god. We'll just leave it at that. And I remember when I got the gig, because right before me was David Grissom, and before him was Jesse Taylor, who are two of my favorite guitarists. Because so to me, as a 20, 21-year-old kid, I'm just kind of like, don't screw it up, right? So I come in guns blazing the way you do when you're a Texas guitar player, and thankfully Joe likes that. But the thing that was really cool about it, and this is kind of what I always talk about in the workshops and often here at the Mucky Duck, because it's a songwriter room, is I was a huge fan of songwriters. I mean, I was a big Lyle Lovett fan. I was a big fan of Townes. Grew up with Willie. I mean, I loved all that stuff. But I didn't write like that. I didn't understand how hard it was to write a really simple song until I got on the road with Joe. And every night I was hanging out with Joe's crowd, the greatest songwriters in the universe. Because all of a sudden, instead of like hanging out with my friends at the Black Cat, it was people like Guy Clark. And so for me, as a young songwriter that didn't really have a voice yet, I was really scared to play a tune in front of any of these people, because these were, right? I mean, these are like the folks. And so I would always do a cover song, and I knew a lot of really cool old soul and folk cover tunes that I could play. This is the first tune of mine that I would play. I wrote it while I was on the road with Joe Ely, so I've had it longer than almost any of the songs that y'all know if you followed my recorded career. And the reason it's made it through every iteration and weird twist and turn in my career is because it's 100% honest. There's no bullshit in it. There's nothing trying to front or anything. So I always call this my first song, and that is definitely a stretch because I had a lot of bad ones before this one. And its merit's debatable, but this tune is a song of mine off of our first record that Buck and I made together in Nashville called Paint Me a Blue Sky. Sing me a lullaby. Won't you wipe away my pain? Ooh, take me out of the traffic rain. Ooh, sing me a lullaby. Keep the woman dry. Ooh, mother, I'm counting on you to paint me a blue sky.
truth, yeah. Hey, hey.
Well, I'm gonna. So this show is an Ian Moore and Friends Christmas holiday show, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this was we've been doing this so long, and we have lost some of our friends along the way, and we realized that if we waited any longer to start doing it, it'd be back to just me again. Well, assuming. I'm just saying. I think I'm gonna last the longest. I don't know. But so I remember Buck and I were talking about this. We were on the road. We just played the House of Blues in Boston, and you went up and recorded this record with a bunch of your buddies up there, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was it. Yeah, we were up in Boston, and we spent about I think we were kind of hubbing out of there.
Yeah.
So I spent a few days recording this song, and anyway, I think it's appropriate for all of us in the sense that this was the last song. I did a version of it for a piece that my dad did that's at Laguna Gloria in Austin. It's a piece called Road Angel, and it's a replica of a 1953 pure bronze Chevy that's out in the sculpture garden. It's pretty beautiful, but it's like a living archive that plays music, and you kind of stumble upon it as you're walking. But I cut a version of this with George Reef, and and we all played together for years, and he was one of our closest friends. But I think this was the last song he ever cut. I called him up one day, and he had been really, really sick, and he called. When I talked to him, he's like, "Buck, I'm really stoned. Now's the time to come." Now. So anyway, I'm gonna send this out to George, and it's always a pleasure to be up here with Ian. It's so wonderful, and to see you guys, and to be back playing some music. And Warren, Texas geniuses up here, as far as I'm concerned. This is a song called "Land of Dreams." He's driving down the highway, his thoughts are drifting by. He's feeling like a ghost town that's been left alone to die, and vanished from the world. He's thrown to the side, vacant from the people that have only made him cry. There's a million miles of highway stretched across his face, a million more to conquer and a million more to trace. And every line of sorrow is a sign from the winds of fate, and every crack of beauty is a map to a magic place. As a voice from a distant land calls out his name, and he knows it will never change. Is this the myth of a place that creates his land of dreams? His land of dreams. He's seen the land of pity, he's seen the land of pain. Now he sees a land for lovers, and it's calling out his name. Blood flows through his veins, as a voice from a distant land calls out his name. It will never change. Is this the myth of a place that creates his land of dreams? His land of dreams. Thank y'all.
Hey, Bucket, can I introduce this next one for you?
Yeah, man. Yes, you can.
Because we lived together. It's interesting, not to keep harping back to my year and a half of enforced solitude, but I was a really desperate man. I realized I had no friends because all of my friends are my musical friends. Because basically, we lived together. I was around Bucka more than any girl I dated at any time in my career by far. So we knew each other real well. We were talking about it on the way down. That's why it's such a great pleasure to share the stage because we don't get to do it very often. Buck is real busy doing a lot of really cool stuff. My favorite memory of this song is there was a period of time where every single friggin' time Bucka would get drunk, he would, if there was a piano in the hotel, and we went through a phase where we had pianos in all the hotels. That was the days of wine and roses, wasn't it? But Bucka would always end up at the damn piano playing this song. And so he was like, "Do you remember this one?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? This song has tortured me for like 40 years because I've heard it 8,000 times."
Well, that's the second time you've been tortured because I learned how to play the accordion with you, too.
Oh, God, you did, too. We'll talk about that in the second set. I don't think they're ready for that yet.
Yeah. That's quite
You guys are entirely too sober to go that deep. But this is I love this song. This is one of my favorite tunes that you've ever written, so I'm excited to do it.
The sky is the devil. It's ready to rain over me and you. The wind is a demon that blows through our hearts in this night that falls. The ground was our angel, now it's covered by evil and pain. Once again, our love's like a river left here from the water, this land of hearts and bones. In the bones there is heartache. The hearts are for love's sake, so we know it's where we belong. Clouds cast down shadows, the battle for fate and strive to darken this place. And the moon's like a serpent that spits down pale beams to burn and poison this land. The stars were our diamonds, but they can't seem to shine the sky. And let them shine through. Our love's like a river left here from the water, this land of hearts and bones. But the bones that surround us won't touch what's inside us, so we know it's where we belong. Thank y'all very much.
All right. All right, right? Yeah, called back pain. Damn thing's heavy. I need one of those straps that puts the load all over the back, not just on the shoulders. Um, so we did our second record out in San Francisco with this guy named Mark Howard and Daniel Lenoir and a bunch of cats that were hanging out. And you know, I wish I was a better keeper of all the details because we went to dinner one night. We were working on Dandelion, and we went to dinner, and Bucka and Mark found this old, it was the synthesizer that Brian Eno had used on all these amazing records. And we came back, and they had created a symphony over Dandelion. I don't know if y'all know that tune, but it's a kind of a Hendrixy guitar tune. And I remember coming back and going, well, and I guess, you know, I'm pretty experimental. I'll try almost anything. But I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready for a symphony on this tune. This is like a, and I wish I had the recording now because I would re-release it with, it was amazing. But anyhow, this is a really fun record. And when people, because it's funny, I'm just trying to get the narrative straight. Because people say I started getting weird on my second record. It's not my fault. It's their fault.
I'll take the blame, Ian. I'm all right
I'll
with
tell
it.
you what. Honestly, what happened is the first record was mostly songs I'd written by myself, and the band kind of coalesced. Me and Michael had been playing drums, but Buck had mostly been playing a lot with Will, and you just started playing with us shortly before that record. So to me, what was really cool about that second record was we started to kind of sound like a band, and I can hear your influence on like this tune. The one I'm about to play reminds me a lot of that. Chris's influence started to be heard. Viegas was always around, so he was in that mess the whole time. But this tune was it's called "You'll Be Gone," and it's kind of a dark horse that made it on Modern Day Folklore that I had totally forgotten about until we started doing these Christmas shows. And Bucka said, "Hey, you remember that tune?" And I'm like, "No." And so we dug it out, and this one is I love this song. This is one of my favorite tunes now, and I totally forgot about it. Loneliness fell from the moon tonight beneath the vacant blanket of sky, and shot its lonely beams as if crying, and I feel that you'll be gone. And I feel that you'll be gone. The sky is a thief with no sympathy. It's ripped the light from my eye. With it takes all remains of the day. And I feel that you'll be gone. And I feel that you'll be gone.
leaves me in a silent way. It shines its lonely beams as if crying, and I feel that you'll be gone. And I feel that you'll be gone. Don't leave me, baby. Don't leave me, girl. Don't leave me, baby. Don't leave me, girl. Don't let the sun, don't let the sun, don't let the sun go down on me. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. If I fell at your feet, baby, would you ever, ever notice me? Hey, baby, would you just pass me by? If I were hurting the deep of the night, would you call and make everything right? Hey, baby, would I have to ask you why? Who would let me in my mind? Now take it real slow. and I'll show you things. If you just let it go. I'll give you my money, baby. Give you my time. Give you anything to make you mine. And all I want is to keep you, baby. I'll keep you satisfied. Oh, let me and mama, I will take it real slow. I'll show you things. Oh, baby, baby, if you just let it go. I'll give you my money, baby. I'll give you my time. I'd give you anything to make you mine. And all I want is to keep you, baby, satisfied. All I want is to keep you, baby. I'll keep you satisfied. All I want is to keep you, baby. I'll keep you satisfied.
You think that's what it is? No, I think it's a jack. I think it's the, you know what it is?
It came on.
Yeah, it's on because I think it's the strap. You guys. You know what I got really good at over the pandemic? Soil. No, I got you get a musician who's traveled their whole life, and you take them off the road, and they're going to pick up weird hobbies. So my wife and I bought one of those inflatable hot tubs. Greatest purchase I've ever made. Don't laugh, or laugh if you want, but I'll tell you what, it saved my friggin' sanity every night we went out there. But this is how pitiful my life was. A couple of years prior, I'm in like Paris, not really, probably Paris, Texas, really, but theoretically it could have been Paris, France, you know, doing something fancy, and instead, my wife literally said, "We're not talking about soil in the hot tub." I got really into gardening, y'all. You can laugh at me, I don't care. I'm proud of that. I grew the hell out of some tomatoes last year, man.
Me too. We gotta talk later.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I know, we need to do a book on what did musicians do during the pandemic. I took up knitting, you know. I learned how to speak Spanish, finally, right? So I do have a Christmas song, believe it or not, since it is a Christmas show. And I mean, is anybody in the room, do any of y'all love, I mean, this is the wrong way to ask it. Let me reframe this a little bit. Who here, who here does not think that Stardust is one of the greatest records ever recorded in the history of recording? Did I say that right? Did I put it out there right? Man, do y'all remember when Stardust came out? I remember hanging out. I was just a little kid. Willie Nelson Stardust, right? You know, and his label didn't want him to do it because they're like, you can't. It's just, I think right after Red-Headed Stranger, right? So it's the record after that. So they're like, well, you got to make, you know, more Red-Headed Stranger, the reddest-headed stranger of all. And he goes, I want to do a cover, a record of covers. And he makes this record, and I remember my whole life, that combination of just that, you know, Willie's voice, it's kind of like Warren Wood. I've been thinking about that, how different voices have different, you know how like Merle Haggard and Willie, they just open their mouth and you just feel like you're at like a ranch house and you understand everything. It all makes sense. It's a beautiful thing. But him singing those tunes and just putting that spin on it just casts this web over my soul and my whole life. If you ask me, because I know, like a lot of y'all love Satisfied. I love that song too. Thank God I wrote it. I wish somebody would cover it and make a lot of money. But if you ask me what my best songs are, I'm going to always say the ones that are kind of in this style, because to me, this style of writing is the most beautiful style. And I think it's because I grew up listening to Stardust. So let's see if I can do this one worth a hell now that I've set it up all like that. I'm back, Buck. You guys like it without the guitar, huh? It was just kind of like Ian in space. It's like Muppets in space. Yeah, y'all can hear it. I wonder how the live stream was. Yeah. Though it may not snow this year, well, I'd take the rain if you were here. And through the maelstrom of your eyes, well, I'd find some light to sympathize. And though the weather's cold and cloudy, one thing's becoming clear, said it just don't seem like Christmas when you're not here. Spent some time on the avenue, oh, but nothing seemed to fit my mood. Yeah, all these things you would have liked, oh, around the tree on Christmas night. So do you think you might be willing to get in touch this year? It just don't seem like Christmas when you're not here. Oh, the mistletoe kisses, yeah, I still remember the years passed us by, baby, now it's December. Oh, presents unopened and wishes unspoken, send them alone anyway. Wherever you might be tonight, whoever's sleeping by your side, come on and buy the Christmas tree. Well, I hope that you might think of me. Oh, try to make yourself a promise. Get in touch this year. Oh, 'cause it just don't seem like Christmas when you're not here. Just don't seem like Christmas when you're not here. Thank you. I'm so grateful for the holidays. We had our first. It's like straight up. I don't even want to. How am I going to do this? Where I live right now, we're full on lockdown still. And we had our first gathering, and Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the whole year. I don't know about y'all, but I just love something. I mean, no offense to Christmas. I just know that my bank account takes a big hit every year, and then a bunch of, But Thanksgiving is just such a beautiful communion, and it really is a great opportunity to kind of slow down a little bit because, our pace, typically we're working our asses off during the summer and into the fall, and then come about Thanksgiving, most of us have a bit of a break. So we had our first gathering in our house, and I am not going to lie, I wept. I tried to do a toast, and I cried for about a minute because I always think of myself as kind of a person. I love solitude. I live in the woods. I go hiking and fishing on my free time away from y'all, and but I really, really love sitting down with a bunch of people and sharing the communion of a meal. It was just such a beautiful thing. So that's kind of the reason I had a lot of time to think about it. Why do I do this? Right? This is why I do this. This is exactly why I do this right here. And I'm so grateful for y'all to share some time with us tonight. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, Warren is probably a bit of a legend here, but just in case some of my fans don't know Warren Hood is an absolutely phenomenal musician and a great songwriter, and he's going to do a couple of tunes for you right now.
All right. Well, it's an honor to be here with Ian and Bucka, longtime friends and fans of y'all. And even cooler that, Ian invited me to play these shows with him, and then he invited me to sing my songs. So that tells you all you need to know about Ian Moore right there. He's a good guy, is what I'm getting at. All right. I'm going to do this song as I wrote called Sign Your Name on the Wall, a song I wrote when I was on tour in the Northeast and found out the Starbucks I had just left used to be a music venue, and it really put it in perspective for me about talking about being grateful, how grateful I am that we have so many great places to play throughout Texas, and especially in Texas. There's so many venues, and the Mucky Duck being one of the greatest in the world anywhere, really. The sound here, the staff here, the way they treat the band, all these things. And so, anyway, Starbucks didn't totally melt the place down and make it look like a plastic Starbucks. They kind of left a little area where the stage once stood, and people had etched their names into the brick. And that stuck with me when I left there and I wrote this song. Money changes hands, then everything changes. I bet you didn't know that chain store there was a famous jazz club just 3 years ago. Now the skyline's different and the strangers everywhere. I grew up in this town, but she don't know me anymore, and I wonder what I'm doing here. Sign your name on the wall, and maybe a line that's funny and true, so they know you were here too. You sign your name on the wall, yeah, that's all that you can do. They say life's too short, but what if it's long? You've gotta prepare for that too. But you never thought you would live this long, and now you don't know what to do. But it's too late to change horses now. You'll have to stay the course. You've earned hair of silver and a heart of gold, and the right to make some noise. Sign your name on the wall, maybe a line that's funny and true. When you're gone, they might read about you. Sign your name on the wall, yeah, that's all that you can do. Well, I still remember the way it was before the flood. but oh, and it's still here. If you look real hard, there's still a diamond in the rough. There's losers and winners, and saints and sinners. Some refuse to play the game. I hold on to the good and I leave the rest. I'm trying to do right by my old man. There's an angel in white on my left shoulder, keeping me in line. When the red one on the right tries up in my ear and pours in my gentle mind. Sign your name on the wall, and maybe a line that's funny and true, so they know you were here too. Sign your name on the wall. Yeah, that's all that you can do. You sign your name on the wall. Yeah, that's all that you can do. So, not only did Ian let me sing one song, he said, well, I'll just sing 2 songs. I was like, all right, sure, let's see what we can do. So, my father, Champ Hood, he used to actually play with Terry Allen a bit, with Buckett's dad. They go way back. Was in a band called Uncle Walt's Band with Walter Hyatt and David Ball. And they used to play on this very stage and all across Texas. And they wrote and recorded a lot of great music. So I'm going to do one written by my godfather, the late, great Walter Hyatt, called Motor City Man. Said don't disturb your head about the work we do. You stay in school, later on you'll do what we couldn't do. But run, boy, run in the summer, in the sun on a summer day. You know what you know, you can't wait to grow and be on your way. I could only understand that my dad's a good man and he's glad payday. Well, high school plan, be a Motor City man, and working night or day. 'Cause no matter who you are, you got to have a car in the USA. Yeah, but something ain't right about billboards smiling down the big highway. It's hard times again, and good working men are sitting home all day. I know this plant's closing down, and I'm leaving this town. I'll be gone payday. Yeah, the red lights and green lights are lighting my home. I'm gonna lighten my way. I said goodbye to the park at the corner after dark, where I lost my fade. Let the factories all fall down to the mother ground. I'll be gone payday. And well, I've done all I can. I'm a Motor City man, and I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm on my way. I said I'm on my way.
Damn good song, man. Well, I made a record. God, again, like I said, I've kind of lost track of time. I guess that starts to happen, right? But 2004 feels like it wasn't that long ago. Actually, Bucka was part of it, and Brian Standifer and Robbie Durso. I had a bunch of tunes. I just had my first kid, and one of my favorite things to reflect back at that time is there were a number of fans that were convinced that I'd started taking hard drugs. The reality of it is I just had kids, which is less dangerous to your direct health, but maybe longer term harmful in a weird way. I don't know. So, I just remember something happened to me when I had my kids, both of whom are musicians now. It's a beautiful thing how that happens, right? Kind of reflecting back on the way you grew up and watching my own kids kind of figure out what they dig. And it's funny because they both play guitar, and they both are really into guitar. And every now and again I'll be like, you guys know I'm pretty good at guitar, right? Because they don't ever want me to teach them anything. Me too. It's the funniest thing. It's like, come on, dude, you got a secret weapon here. I'm the secret weapon. Nobody knows. Nobody else has a dad like that. I mean, somebody does, but not where we live. Anyhow, I remember making this record, and I just had such a different feeling in my soul. And obviously, I'm kind of sentimental about it because it's a different time in my life. But I love the songs on this one, and I wrote this tune. It's got y'all, if you've seen me enough times, you've heard all the different stories. I got a great fishing story about this song. But the thing I want to tell tonight, because I'm feeling sentimental, it's the end of the year, and I'm looking at 2022 and actually being able to play a little bit more, and got some great gigs in the summer, some real fun big rock and roll shows. I wrote this song on a dare because my wife said, Jolene, by the way, is her name, so you understand the woman that tortures me. In case she's watching, I love you, honey. I didn't mean that. It's a fucking problem with the internet, right? It could go anywhere. Some Russian bot just going, burp, burp. She said, you cannot write a non-depressing song. All your songs are depressing. And I was like, no, they're not. They're introspective and emotional. And she's like, uh-huh. Yeah, write a joyous song. And I was like, that's easy. And she said, okay, fine, do it. This is as good as I get. So if you don't think this song is joyous, if you don't feel joyous, Kenny Chesney? I don't know. I'm just saying, everybody's got their own flavor, right? So this one's called New Day. If I have to give up coffee, I'm going to have to change the lyrics to this song.
Every day is like a new day. The sun has broken through the night's haze. I drink my coffee from a big cup, and I ain't never gonna get up. If I was a rider, well, I'd lay around, smoking cigarettes and thinking about the life I'd live if I was someone else. If love was lost and I was by myself, by myself. But babe, your loving is a mountain stream. What's a rough and rocky just a valley green. And just to love you, baby, is not enough. Honey, I just wanna drink you up. Oh, drink you up. Da 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 da. My head is heavy and my tongue is slow, but I just wanna call to let you know it wasn't a waste, baby, I'm doing okay. Every day is like a new day, new day, new day. New day, oh new day, oh new day, new day, oh new, oh 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 day.
Thank you all so much. All right, well, we have a couple more songs for you tonight. And again, I want to thank you all for coming out. I'm so grateful. It's so nice to see Rusty and Teresa have never both greeted me when I walked through the door, and I knew we're all glad to see each other when they're both there. I'm not saying they're there just for me, but it was real nice to see them. I've had so many great shows here. I mean, I remember... you know, like when I played here and I first started playing the Kerrville Folk Fest, I think a lot of people just thought I was going to come out with a stack of Marshalls and try to just bludgeon my way through it. And, you know, I didn't. And I'm grateful to be able to play my songs for y'all and to have a space to do that. And I really appreciate, as Warren said, you know, I got kind of spoiled coming up in Austin and playing the Cactus and then coming down here. I just assumed there were listening rooms like this all over the country. And then I went on tour acoustically and was like, oh, shit. You can't turn up when you're playing an acoustic instrument, right? So anyhow, got a couple of tunes. This one is, again, I think off of Luminaria, if I'm not mistaken. Just one sec, I'm in the wrong tuning. I need like about 5 different guitars and different tunings. But this tune is called Cinnamon. And let's just say, how's the best way to describe this one? This was written under dire circumstances in a very, very strange situation. I locked myself in a bathroom and wouldn't come out for about 3.5 hours. I was very, very high.
Is that Lawrence?
What's that?
Is that in Lawrence?
No, was that in Lawrence? No, Bucka, that happened more than once. Buck and I basically the whole drive down here were just talking about, remember that time when he told me, I was like, I don't even remember your memories, but I wish I was in your head instead of mine. I just remember the set list. You're like, remember when we drove that Porsche down to L.A.? And I'm like, no, but could you download that one into my brain and I could stop thinking about the, you know. Now this one was in Santa Cruz, up in the Santa Cruz Hills.
Well, the sun has a way of going straight to my head. I get hazy and lazy, can't get from my bed. Lay there and stare at your seraphim hair for a while. And it's crawling and creeping, covering my skin. I can't breathe, I can't see, I can't find anything except your lips and your tongue, moving as one, near as one. Oh, and hey, just let me lay in your bed for a while. 'Cause I'm drunk, but I'm happy inside of you. If this thing would help get you through, it gets you through, gets you through, it gets you through. So your body is blushing like blood from a rose, and it's zipless and it's perfect like obsidian stone. From the flush of your skin to the secrets within, here within. Oh, and hey, just let me lay in your bed for a while. 'Cause I'm drunk, but I'm happy inside of you. And if this thing would help get you through, it gets you through, it gets you through, it gets you through. But I'm happy inside of you. And if this thing would help get you through, it gets you through, it gets you through, it gets you through. Yeah, then there's nothing else more I will do.
Thank you so much. Well, what a joy being here tonight, and I hope to see a lot of y'all in the new year. I got a bunch planned. Like I said, I'll be down here a couple of times at least, playing with the band, and then, of course, hopefully doing a very normal show that we can just pack it up the way we normally do, and nobody has to worry about a thing. That's my hope, and I sure hope we can share that night, but I'm very grateful for tonight. And since I am playing the Mucky Duck, and I have seen shows, I actually saw Guy Clark here one time where he talked about an hour and a half and played 3 songs. So I consider that I'm way ahead of the curve for the night. And I'm going to tell a story I've told a few times, but it's one of my favorite stories. I don't really think about it because when I was growing up, I was hanging out with a bunch of people older than me that had a lot better stories. And when I moved up to Seattle, I'd be hanging out with these kind of little indie rock guys that were like, man, this one time on tour, we got drunk. And I'm like, fuck you. You don't even know. So this one time on tour, we were on tour with Ted Nugent. I love telling this story with Buck. It's so much more fun with someone that was actually there, because it's like I've been telling this story with Cullen.
That, Ian.
Oh, you're going to remember it once I start. Yeah, you don't remember it. So my drummer at the time, Michael Viegas, God rest his soul, even though he's still alive, was sleeping with Ted's daughter. Thank you for understanding. Some people don't do that, and I'm like, God, you guys are such assholes. How am I even supposed to tell a story when you don't even, or people, I'll tell this story and they'll be like, what, you don't like Ted Nugent? I'm like, where did I like Ted Nugent looks like a total badass in this story, so just everybody shut up, unless you don't need to, in which case it's fine. Was that wrong to say? Okay, that's for the live stream audience. So anyhow, Ted's sleeping, Mike's sleeping with Ted's daughter, Sasha.
Boy, it's out there now.
Yeah, it's been out there for years. I'm still waiting for Ted to come get me with a flaming arrow. It's kind of like a big dare. His knees are bad. I can outrun him. But he can't shoot pretty far. I mean, it just depends on the circumstances. Anyhow, so Michael says, in this way that only Michael would say, hey, man, Sasha, we were talking, and, hey, it's cool if Sasha rides on the bus, right? Yeah, no, it's not cool. And then Viegas, because me and Viegas had been playing together since we were 17, he had this kind of thing that he would do. He'd be like, come on, man, don't be a dick, And so I gave in. Because I didn't want to be a fascist, a band leader. I was like, we're all a group together. Sure, Sasha can ride on the bus. So she did. And we're sitting there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I still remember, Zoo Amphitheater. And I'm waiting. I'm like trying, the buses, I don't know if any of you guys know about like tour buses, but there's a bunch of stuff they have to do before you can drive. Like they have to kind of like, it's like Star Trek episode. You got to like turn on the phaser switch and then the warm-up switch, and then, it takes like a half an hour before from the time you start the bus till you can leave. And Sasha's on the bus, and I know that her dad's going to come on the bus, so I'm just kind of like, let's get out of here, because Ted Nugent, right? But it doesn't happen, and we're just sitting there, and we're all sitting around. We had a great show. We had played Leonard Skinner, Ted Nugent, and we were the first band. It's how we got the Stones tour. It was actually a killer tour. We had a lot of fun on it. But we're sitting here waiting to go, and Sasha's dad walks up on the bus. And everybody, have you ever done that thing where when you're like trying to act like you're not freaked out by acting really mellow? Right? But then you all of a sudden realize you haven't breathed for like a minute and a half because you're being so mellow you didn't remember to breathe. That's what happened. I can't speak for Bucka, but I guarantee you, because I remember I was sitting in the thing right by the bathroom, and I was sitting there with my beer like, because I didn't want Ted to know that I was scared. And then Ted Nugent, to his credit, see, this is why I don't understand why people get mad at me when I think that they're big Ted fans. I'm like, he looks great in this story. Ted walks on the bus and he looks at every one of us, like deep in our souls, like in that way that, that dad skill. I don't have daughters, but I imagine, especially if you have daughters, you get that thing. And he goes, listen, I know you're all gentlemen. I expect you to act as gentlemen tonight, because if anybody touches my daughter, I will kill you. And everybody's like, like, holy shit. Because if you've ever seen Ted Nugent, he literally shoots a friggin' bow and arrow in the middle of the set at like the Shah or whoever our new enemy is. Typically a brown person. Just saying. Just saying. That's what he does. And so I'm just imagining, because here's the quotient. If the drummer's sleeping with the daughter, the lead singer must be doing something really bad. So he walks off the bus and everybody breathes all collectively for the, oh, Jesus. And then he walks back on. He goes, I'm serious. And then the bus leaves. The bus finally leaves. So everybody, and Buck is the worst, is acting super cool because there's a girl on the bus playing like, hey, Sasha, you ever heard jazz? I don't know. And I went straight back to the back lounge, and I locked myself in the back of the bus because I just figured, I'm not going to be part of this. And I remember it sounded like a lot of fun. Their music was playing. Everybody's, come on, people knock on the door occasionally. Hey, come on, we're having a blast out here. You should come out front. I didn't come out till the morning, but I wrote 2 songs that night. And the first tune is Barline 99, which makes a lot of sense when you listen to it. And this one is a gift that I cannot believe came out of that night. So we're going to end the night tonight with this song and send this one out as a thanks to you and yours, and as also a way to acknowledge I've had some good friends that have passed during this time. My old bass player, Matt, I haven't seen y'all since he passed. And just to our family and to our friends, and till we see you again, we're going to leave y'all with this song. This one is called Today. Lay me in flowers, sweet magnolias, New Orleans style. Hey, and play your funeral procession, second line of rhythms, won't you walk me that mile? Won't you find tune for my hiding and let me rest in there, rest for a while. Ooh, and make grand presentation, all of my family, yeah, my time. River is a running, ooh, it runs with Mississippi mud. My life is good today. Ooh, it fly, oh fly, 'cause I got somewhere that I gotta be. When doctors and lawyers, ooh, with all the money, well, they won't find me. Sky is so big here, ooh, it's filled with Arizona skies. My life is good today. Mr. Bucka Allen, Mr. Warren Hood.
Ian Moore, everybody.
Thank you so much. Please see our good friend Stephanie on the way out if y'all want to get some merchandise. We're going to just leave y'all with a little bit of a stomp and romp, I guess, just because I'm an open G, and I thought it'd be a good way to end it. And thank you for the drink, whoever brought this. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Everybody have a great end of your year. Hey, listen.